Nothing after that. Is that Tom Malone? Are you on?
That person's video is also on, but I can't see who that is. I see Chief Saccone.
Well, we're going to get started. So this is Councilor Bill Solms. I'm calling this regular meeting of the Town Council Finance Committee to order. Present are myself, Councilor Andra Ingalls, Administrative Assistant Roxanne Marr, Gales Ferry Fire Chief Tony Saccone, and Fire Marshal. Did I miss anyone? And Jim Mann is going to be jumping back and forth between this call and the governor's call. And I don't see the mayor or Marcia yet.
Yeah, the mayor is away.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Do we know if Marcia's coming?
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to her either.
Yeah, I know she accepted the invite, so.
Okay. All right, so I will entertain a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of, and it doesn't say, or I can't see it.
June 10th.
June 10th, thank you. Is there a second?
It's second. Councilor Ingalls seconds. Sorry.
Thank you. Actually, I'm making that motion. I just realized. Any comments?
Like
yeah.
No.
No. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And Councilor Solms says aye. So, and I will update here.
Okay.
Okay, so we have no old business. We have no finance director report because we haven't got a finance director here yet. So I'm going to go on to new business. Is there anyone who would like to amend the agenda for new business? Hearing none, I would make a motion to approve a proposed authorizing resolution of the Ledyard Town Council, State of Connecticut Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, as contained in the draft dated July 15, 2020. In addition, authorize the mayor to sign a fiscal year 20 State Homeland Security Grant Program Region 4 Memorandum of Agreement.
Second.
Thank you. So this is something we do every year. It allows us to access Homeland Security funds, which amount to about $300,000 for the region. We don't get all of that. We always do well with that program. So we have to authorize this motion to make ourselves accessible for the grant, and also to agree that other municipalities will be able to use the equipment that we gain under it if it's shared. Have I said that correctly, either Jim?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. What happens is the state gets this general funds, and then they, divvy it out between the different regions. This year, I think it was 381,000 are going to region for our region. And like last year, before the COVID thing, we actually had a chance to get a signboard, and we were like a meeting away from getting it, but unfortunately COVID hit and everything came to a stop. But you know, this coming up year, we'll try to get something. And the only thing is if we get something from them, we got to agree that other municipalities can use it. As far as maintenance goes, if, you know, let's say a signboard or light tower or whatever, if there's an issue, we can always go back to RESF3 and say, hey, we need funding to fix it. So it's actually a good deal for everybody if you get the assets.
Got it. Thank you. Councilor Ingalls, any questions?
No questions.
Okay, I have none either. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And Councilor Sullivan says aye. The motion passes. I see Jeff Smith coming in. So I just added Jeff to the roll call. Get to item 2. So a call from Roxanne and then Chief Saccone today. The generator on engine 21 in Gales Ferry literally blew up, if I understood the chief correctly, and we need to replace it. The engine is 11 years old. It will cost, I think, $8,000. I know the chief will correct me. It'll cost $8,000 to rebuild it and 10 to 15 to put a new one on the vehicle. So I will turn it over to Chief Saccone and Jeff Smith to add more.
Okay, so 2 nights ago, I had that rollover by Pfizer Field. There were 4 people in the car, and luckily everybody had their seatbelts on and literally walked away from the accident. But at that call, the generator, literally some parts blew off the damn thing. The alternator is shot, the housing is shot, and as of 2 years ago, that model, they no longer make parts for. They can remanufacture parts for it. Jeff Smith can give you the quote on that. I think it was $6,000 to $8,000. But I have a quote as of today for a new installed generator for $12,775. Now, this quote was kind of roughly put together today. If I go through with doing the legislative file and paperwork need to do this, I might want to increase that by about 500, just because this quote was put together so quickly. So the generator is used to light up scenes at emergencies in the middle of the night to protect the firefighters, but also power up any of our equipment, heavy duty fans to blow the smoke away, et cetera, et cetera. It's permanently mounted on the top of the vehicle. And then it powers up all the outlets on the vehicle. The vehicle is 11 years old. And if we keep it to 25 years, that means this generator will last another 14 years, which I believe it's critically important to replace it. Also additional in reference to this is the beginning of the budget year, and a $12,700 hit to repairs would take a huge hit on our budget as it just started this month. Jeff Smith, anything you can add?
No, you hit all the points, Tony. It does come with a 6-year warranty, the new generator. So we will have coverage for 6 years, which is a blessing.
So we plan to keep this vehicle for another 15 plus years, maybe even 19. So
it's
it
11,
seems to be.
It's 11 years old now. If we keep it to 25, what's that, 14 years?
Yeah, I'm doing my math wrong. So if we kept it to 20, it'd be 11 years. And
25
I'm sorry,
would be.
it'd be 9 years. 9 to 14 years.
Right.
So,
And you know, if I could interject, that is a critical piece of equipment. Yeah, that's necessary. You know, that's just my viewpoint. But how many times have I relied on electrical power, even at a fire scene. It's just critical.
I'm just going to pause for a minute. I got a text from Marcia. She's trying to connect via WebEx. Roxanne, could you send her the dial-in information?
Sure.
Thank you. If you can text it to her, that'd be great. Okay, so I think I think in either case, given the amount of money that this is, we probably need to ask Marcia to see what other sources of funds we have so that we don't deplete the equipment budget. And with a $12,500 expenditure, we're under the $15,000 purchasing ordinance requirement that I think that's that we go out to bid, but I think we have to get 3 quotes, 12.5 or in that neighborhood. Does that sound right? I know Roxanne is trying to do something.
Oh, what did you say? If it's between 7 and 15,000, I think 3 quotes is fine. If it's over 15,000, then you have to get bids.
Yep. Okay. So we'll need to get 2 more quotes in addition.
So where it is right now, it's a Bulldog fire apparatus repair. There are major repair of all of our vehicles, and they've already started the process. It's been removed. It's been evaluated, and it's in their possession right now. Just an FYI.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, a bid waiver might be a better way to go. You can tell me otherwise.
So what do we do in the meantime?
We have a port of. You mean for electricity?
Well, with that truck, so if do they have the generator or the truck?
They have both. The truck is getting some work done on it. The generator's staying there. We're getting the truck back. We're getting the truck back without the generator.
Got it. Okay.
It should be in the bay, Tony.
Correct. It is. It's already back without the generator, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Good. And what do you do for a generator in the meantime?
So we have some portable ones, like the ones you buy at the hardware stores. We're going to have to try to mount one of them on there.
Okay.
The portable generators, extremely heavy. Then when you get to the scene, you have to physically take them off the fire truck so it doesn't fill up the cab with carbon monoxide and bring them closer to the building, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. The one physically on the truck has a 100-foot electrical cord already attached to it.
Well, isn't there a way, because this is kind of a critical need piece of equipment, that we can skirt the bid waiver? I mean, this is not like something, we have time to wait on. This is something, the truck's there, it can be done now. It just seems to me, and I will testify, hauling portable generators around at a fire scene is not only cumbersome, but can also be dangerous due to grounding and other issues.
So we just went through this. We would have to use the emergency expenditures ordinance, and what's that called, Roxanne? Go ahead.
No, you wouldn't have to, because if Tony went in and put in an action item request that requested the funding and then requested a bid waiver, you could move forward. So the town council would actually be acting on it at their next meeting. It's not like they're going to do it. An emergency purchase would be if they just went out and did it today without any council approval.
So what do you guys think about waiting until a council meeting next week?
That's perfectly fine with us. So we can hold over until then with the portable generators.
Okay, so we could make a motion tonight to request a bid waiver, recommend a bid waiver from the town council. We could move that forward to the council for next Wednesday night. The council could vote on it, and if approved, you could get the work done.
Right, but you'd also have to identify the funding source.
Correct.
So you'd have
Oh,
to
that's right.
authorize, you'd have to authorize up to, say, $13,250 from an account to pay for the work, and then in addition, grant a bid waiver to whoever is the vendor that they're planning to use.
Got it. So let's do this. Right now, we're still just discussing. We can circle back to this item.
Okay.
And assuming Marcia is able to join, hopefully she'll be able to dial in.
I'm here now.
Oh, you're on. Okay, so let's keep going. So Marcia, in summary, the Gales Ferry Engine 21 suffered a generator loss last night at a rollover. The truck is back at the fire station. The generator is shot. It has to either be rebuilt or we have to buy a new one. The chief has a quote for $12,500 for a new one from the company that has the generator now. The concern is that if we go out to bid, that will take at least a week or two. The council is not meeting after the 15th. They're canceling the, I got this right? Is there one in between now and August?
There's only
We're
one
meeting-
anyway.
Only one in
Right,
August.
Right, it's the last one.
But excuse me, why do they have to go out to bid for 12,500? They can,
Yeah,
according
No,
to
they-
the,
I'm
think
sorry,
they-
no,
they
no,
would-
they have to get 3 quotes. I misspoke, I'm sorry.
Right.
So even so, 3
Okay.
quotes.
they don't need a bid waiver if they get 3 quotes.
Yeah,
Right, but they're
And-
afraid
chief,
they don't want to get 3 quotes.
So, just so I make sure, councilors, you know as well, Steve Holyfield is in on this information, so just so you know, as the administrator. So Marcia, the company that evaluated the generator and physically removed it to evaluate it, it's at their shop, Bulldog Fire Apparatus up in Franklin. I think it's Franklin. So they gave us a quote. The physical generator is in their possession. So we're just trying to expedite this emergency piece of equipment and not get 3 quotes.
Help me understand. So I understand that the damaged generator is in their possession. Help me understand why that hinders getting 2 more quotes for a new piece of equipment.
No, I suppose it doesn't. You're correct. It doesn't. Yep. It would take some time. I would say minimum of a week. They might want to look at the fire truck to see how it's mounted and the correct hoses that hook up. It's a hydraulic driven generator. So they physically have to come down to the firehouse, look at the fire truck, and evaluate what it's going to take to put a new generator on there.
Okay, so that helps me understand better that they were able to give a quote quickly because they have the equipment in their possession.
That's correct.
The delay on 2 other quotes would be just facilitating them seeing the equipment. Is that,
That's
am I
correct.
understanding that correct? Okay,
Correct. Yep.
that helps me. Thank you.
Yeah, so real quick, our maintenance shop is in Basra. The next closest maintenance shop that would do this work would be Shipman's over in Waterford, and then the next closest to that would be either North Haven or Hartford. So that's how far out we'd have to go for this type of equipment on fire apparatus.
So, so the quote on the new piece, the new generator, I mean, can we just do a little homework and get a feel for what that would go for on the market?
Trying to get additional quotes. Is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm, for the new piece of equipment.
I'm sure we can do that. Sure. It's going to take a little bit of time. And, yeah, I'm sure it can be done. Again,
The other issue,
it just
Marcia?
delays getting this back in service, of course.
Marcia, the other issue that Tony raised is that they don't want to use their maintenance account this early in the year. So they're looking for us to identify a funding source, and that's where we need you to help them.
Undesignated. I think there's about close to 300,000 in CNR undesignated right now.
Okay, so I'm multitasking here. Roxanne,
So here's what I think. I'm all for getting the new piece of equipment. I am. For the lifespan, we're not talking about that much money for the life of the piece of equipment. So I'm all for getting the right piece and and as soon as reasonably possible. We also have an interest in doing our due diligence. So I'm all for moving this on to the full council for next week. But in the meantime, it would help me if due diligence could be done to pursue a couple more quotes.
Understand.
okay, so I apologize. I'm multitasking here. I just got a call from Tom. I'm texting him the meeting link. He's not able to access from his computer. So give me a second.
Bill, you're breaking up.
Is that better?
Yes.
So I'm just texting Tom along with a meeting link so he can dial in. Okay, sorry about that. So Andra, what are your thoughts about, we've requested that we get a couple of other quotes. What if we do a bid waiver as a special finance meeting just before next week's council meeting, if we don't have 3 quotes?
Just a reminder, we have a public hearing at 6:30.
Okay.
That would work. That would work.
Okay.
I again, I just feel like due diligence,
Yeah.
the process is meant to protect everybody.
Right.
So I'm very hesitant to push through the process. And my gut is always, when an emergency comes up, I'm always thinking, what can we do to kind of slow down making long-term decisions? And I don't, I realize it's a $12,000 piece of equipment, not a $500,000 piece of equipment, but
Yep.
still, for me, it's a due diligence question which is the flip side of the coin, is that I want them to have the right piece of equipment and as soon as reasonably possible.
Right. So I'm going to make a motion. I'm not making it now. I'm just going to put this out there. I'll make a motion to approve the expense and taking the money, transferring the money from undesignated. Is that capital, Marcia? Yeah, undesignated capital. And that way we can get it on the council agenda. And if we have 3 quotes, we could choose the one that's recommended by the fire company and act on it next Wednesday. And if we don't have 3 quotes, we'll have a special meeting of the finance committee to recommend a bid waiver, and then we'll put that on the council agenda for the same night.
Chief, does that work for you?
Yes, that works. We can try to get some quotes this week.
In addition is it Bulldog? Is that what you said? Bulldog fire apparatus?
Correct.
Who else would we look to for a piece of equipment like that? Just for my own edification.
Jeff Smith, go ahead.
So Shipman's Fire Apparatus in Waterford.
You said that.
Yep, there's a 5-star fire apparatus out of Hartford. There's New England Fire Equipment out of North Haven.
Okay.
And there's a couple more further past North Haven.
Okay. All right. Good. You did say that already. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Marcia.
Is there, is it necessary for them to come out and look at the apparatus for the other two quotes? Or can you just ask them what it would cost to for the generator and then the labor to put it in?
So I'm going to make some phone calls tomorrow while I'm at work and see if I could get some rough quotes, without them having to come down and take a look, try to speed this up so that we can get these quotes to you guys. One of them, they might want to come down and look at the truck, which, that's up to them. But I will try to get like at least a rough quote and rough estimate for it.
That makes sense, Jeff. I mean, if Shipmans, it would seem to me that they would be willing to come look at the vehicle. It would also seem to me that if you can tell them the vehicle and you can tell them the model of the generator, they might have enough information to figure out what's involved.
Right. Yeah. Yep. And it's a very generic generator. It's not like a specialty hydraulic generator. They're on fire trucks all over.
So they might have some prior experience. Okay.
Yeah. We used to have our service there before their quality of workmanship went downhill a little in our eyes. So that's why we switched. So
Shipments went downhill, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Marcia, if I make a motion, can you fill in the blanks on the account numbers later?
Yes.
Okay.
You want a figure?
Yes.
Okay, so the exact quote, and again, I asked for additional 500 because this quote was rushly put together today, is $12,775.
And we want to add 500 to that?
Correct.
Okay.
And that was, we have to pay for the evaluation of it anyways. We've already spent 2 hours evaluating it.
Okay.
And then the cost of the new 10 kW generator, and obviously the install and replacing some new hydraulic lines and shipping.
It's a 10 kW generator. It's the existing equipment, install the new one, and pay for shipping. Total is $13,275. Okay.
Yep.
So I move that the Finance Committee recommend the Town Council approve an amount up to, I'm just going to say $1,000. I'm sorry, hang on. Hey, Tom. Yeah, it asks you for meeting password. You just hit pound and it'll get you in. Oh. All right. Let me just put you on speaker and people will be able to hear you. Hang on. All right, Tom is with us by speakerphone on my cell phone. All right, so I move to recommend the Town Council approve up to $14,000 in expenditures to replace a 10 kilowatt generator on Gales Ferry Fire Company Engine 21. And we'll probably have to modify this for the selected bid, right? Because if you, I mean, quotes, get some quotes, we'll have to actually specify.
If they get 3 quotes, you don't have to do that. They just will go with the quote.
But what am I saying in the motion? So let's say they have 3 quotes. What am I saying in the motion? We don't know who the best provider is.
Well, that's true.
You could say up to 14,000. You don't have to name, if they get 3 quotes, you don't have to give a bid waiver. You don't, so you can just approve the funding.
Okay,
Correct.
so I move to recommend the town council approve up to $14,000 in spending for a 10 kilowatt generator to replace a failed generator on Gales Ferry Engine 21. Included in the cost are the inspection of the existing engine and failed generator, installation, purchase and installation of the new one, shipping and handling.
With
Second.
funding to come from designated.
And funding to come from capital undesignated. Okay. Councilor
Second.
Malone just seconded.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Let me turn up the volume. You guys couldn't hear him. Hang on.
So Tom, did you want to
Yeah.
brief him on the whole subject matter, or not now?
Yeah. Chief, could you do that? And I'm going to write the motion that I think I just made.
And that Tom just seconded without knowing the background.
Can you hear me?
Tom, can you hear Chief Saccone? Okay, go ahead, Chief.
Okay, so a couple of days ago at a rollover by fire field, our generator was lighting up the scene, and there was a catastrophic failure. Several parts on the generator. As of 2 years ago, they do not make any more parts for it. So to replace it, it was about $13,000. To repair it is about $7,000 to $8,000. So we don't want to spend $8,000 and still have an old generator. The apparatus that is on, which is engine 21, the apparatus is 11 years old. And if we keep it to 20 to 25 years, that means this generator will last another about 14 years. Generator used obviously is for lighting and to power up any power equipment at the emergency scenes. Additionally, that the truck went out for some work at Bulldog Fire Apparatus. So while I was there, they evaluated the generator, and that's why they came up with the 2 different figures: repair or replace. And the cost difference is minimal compared to getting a new generator. So the Bulldog Fire Apparatus has a generator in their possession because they took it off the fire truck to evaluate it. The fire truck is fixed and back in quarters.
Bill, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was on mute. So is there any other discussion? And thank you, Chief, for explaining that. Any other discussion, comments, or questions? All in favor, ready to vote? Please say aye.
Counselor Ingalls votes aye.
And Councilor Solomons votes aye. The motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very
Okay.
much for acting on this.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Jeff. And thank you, Jim.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you. Good night.
You're welcome. I'm gonna bolt and listen to the other phone call. They're still discussing voting and all the other stuff, so could be interesting.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye.
So Chief Saccone, Fire Marshal Mann, and firefighter Jeff Smith have left the meeting. Tom Malone, a lot of background noise. So I will make a motion to recommend the town council approve the transfer of tax accounts in the amount of $66,702.97 listed in the report dated May 28, 2020 to the suspense file. In addition, authorize the transfer of non-refundable overpayments in the amount of $258.60 to the general fund as listed in report dated May 28, 2020.
Counselor Ingalls seconds.
Thank you. This is something that we do every year. I have only one question about it. We've gone through these reports in great detail in the years past. We've discussed the process over the continuing collection efforts. $66,000 in a budget of approximately $32 million, or at least a tax revenue of approximately $32 million. If I have that figure right, amounts to 0.2% of taxes collected. Marcia, could you comment on that, on the accuracy of what I just said? And also, could you comment on how this amount differs from years past, higher or lower, if you happen to know?
I do not happen to know if it's higher or lower, but it basically takes the most recent year and adds it to the suspense file, which goes back, I believe, 12 years or 13 years. So yes, it seems to be a very small amount.
Yep. I did note there were a couple of businesses.
Pardon me?
No, go ahead.
So it is, I don't know who's on the list. I did not look at the list. That's about all I can tell you, but it's collections that have been pursued by the collection agency and the state marshal, and which is what we use in combination to try to get people to pay. And so I think it's a reasonably small percentage given the large, compared to the total taxes that were due.
It's almost all, I think it is all personal property and motor vehicle taxes.
Correct.
There were two large dollar amounts. They were both businesses that are now out of business. But other than that, they're all small amounts. Almost all of them under $1,000, and usually in the area, $50, $200. So personal property, motor vehicles, often people dispose of the vehicle or move out of town, or who knows, sometimes people die and they become uncollectible. So I think our tax collector has, as we all know, he's done a great job over the years. I wanted to look at it in detail this year because we have a new tax collector, and that's why I was asking about the dollar amount, and also because of the effect of COVID.
So I will get that information to you before the council meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, any other questions, discussion?
None.
Okay, ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Counselor Ingalls votes aye.
Thank you, Tom. Counselor Solomons votes aye as well. The motion passes. And last, I would make a motion to approve proposed amendments to the general government grant application policy and process to include federal regulations for applying for federal funding as contained in the draft dated June 24, 2020. And Councilor Malone seconds. Thank you. Just catching up here with iCompass. I'm struggling with it. All right, I'll play with that later. So we have a grant application policy or ordinance. I'm trying to get it open in front of me right now. But the policy requires that every organization with the town, if they apply for a grant, whether it's 100%, whether it's got matching funds, if it's in kind, they all have to be approved by the council. This adds the wording that the organization or person applying for the grant must also sign that they've read the federal government policy and rules on grant application. Have I said that correctly?
Yes, I have it open in front of me. Yeah,
Thank you.
That's correct.
Okay.
This is
So
something that the auditors have requested that we include in our policy, or in one of our policies. We need about grants. We needed to have this language because it will become an issue for the FY21 audit. We need to show that we are practicing due diligence when getting a grant from the federal government, since they have so many requirements, and a lot of people don't really read through the requirements before they apply for a grant, and then later on they get caught up in not doing the right reporting, and then that causes all kinds of problems in the financial report. So,
got it. A good move.
Yep.
Questions?
It's pretty
All in
straightforward.
favor? Yeah, agree.
Counselor
All in
Ingalls votes
favor,
aye.
please.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you.
Aye already.
All in favor, say aye. Counselor Ingalls is in favor. Counselor Malone. He says aye too. So does Counselor Soms. The motion passes. And I don't believe we have any other agenda items. And I will adjourn the meeting without exception
Excuse me.
at 5:41.
Could I just give an update? It doesn't have to be part of the meeting.
Yeah, Mark, I'm sorry. Yeah. So we're not adjourned. I take it back.
I just wanted to update you on a couple of things. I saw that Jim was on earlier, and I don't know if he talked to you about FEMA at all. But we have put together, Jim is our point person with FEMA and with the with DEMIS at the state level, and we've put together our list of items that we needed to purchase for dealing with COVID. And Jim is in the process of uploading all that information. It was, it's of course very time consuming to pull all that information together. And I don't even want to know, although I'm sure I will hear, what it's like submitting the information online. I'm sure Jim will let us know about that, but it totals near $40,000 that we should be getting 75% reimbursement on. And then the 25% or whatever percentage the federal government doesn't authorize, we can put through the state under another reimbursement program. So we should be held harmless on all the money we spent to make town hall and the other buildings safer and to be able to work from home. We also put in for the dispatch bridge, the radio bridge, that was $14,000.
Yeah.
Since that was not approved in the budget and we were not going to go forward with that. But when the pandemic happened, it was deemed very essential to get the bridge so that everybody could communicate across the different towns and agencies. So we're moving ahead with that, and it'll be interesting to see A, how long it takes to get our money, and then B, how much we get. So we have to wait until the FEMA money has been approved before we can apply with the state. We just had on another issue, we had a Munis upgrade, big upgrade, on July 2nd, and we're still dealing with the tweaking that needs to happen. Certain processes are not working at certain points along the way. So we're getting those all ironed out, and there are upgrades in the upgrade that are making life more efficient, saving us time once we don't have to be on the phone with Munis all day. And I'm really pleased with the advances they've made in some of the processes. So that's a good thing. We're moving. We're in good shape for the audit, which will start in earnest in September, and we expect to be done well before the December 31st deadline again. And the last item I wanted to talk about is that we're going to be having our physical inventory done. The council and the town voted to, over 2 years, we've saved up $15,000 to have that inventory done. That will be done in September, the beginning of September. And that will be a really good new start for our fixed assets so that we can have all the information we need on all the vehicles, buildings, and large equipment that we have.
Excellent. So that means everything gets barcoded with a label, correct?
Correct.
Excellent. Very good. Good report. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia.
You're welcome, Andra. I like your checkerboard.
Thank you. It's one of those carom
anybody
boards. With
read-
little,
What's that?
It's one of those carom boards with see the pockets on the corners. It's got the
Oh,
little plastic
yeah.
rings, and it's like 100 different games you can play on it.
Oh, cool.
Looks like a
You
pool
can
table.
read puzzles. Did
It is
anybody
on
read
the-
my little chat?
No. Oh, I didn't see. I see it now. Wait a minute. With Flo and her crew.
Does anybody understand what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, isn't she the insurance lady?
Yes, thank you, Rox.
I knew.
I guess we're the only ones
Okay.
who have enough time to watch TV.
Um,
I know, Flo
okay,
is-
if we're done, we have to adjourn because we have to get the admin meeting started.
So we're adjourned at 5:47 without exceptions. Thank you all.
Bye, y'all.
See you
Bye.
in
Thank you.
Bye.